Hello everyone, welcome to Election Future. The 2024 presidential election is just 10 days away, and we're now in the final stretch. As the election nears, Trump continues to surge to new heights. In this video, I'll be updating my 2024 electoral map forecast to show where Harris and Trump stand in the all-important battle for 270 electoral votes. We'll begin by filling in the solid states for both candidates, those races in which either Harris or Trump is expected to win by 15 percentage points or more. Starting with the safe blue states for the vice president, she will easily win Washington, California, Hawaii, as well as Illinois, Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Joe Biden's home state of Delaware, Maryland, the District of Columbia, and Maine's 1st District. This gives her 131 electoral votes. For Trump, he is likely to win all the rural states out west, along with the Deep South. The safe red states on this map include Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, North and South Dakota, all of Nebraska except its 2nd District, Kansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, and South Carolina. This essentially puts both the Democrats and Republicans in a tie, with Harris just 9 electoral votes behind Trump, who is poised to retake the lead with the likely states. Likely races are those in which either candidate is expected to win by 7 to 15 points. These races are slightly more competitive, but one candidate will still have a clear edge. Starting with the likely state for the former president, we begin with the two most obvious ones, Alaska and Maine's 2nd District. Trump is expected to win Alaska by a double-digit margin, although Democrats have been making gains here recently, winning the state's only House seat in 2022, represented by Mary Peltola. Maine's 2nd District will also likely go red, with Trump winning it for a 3rd consecutive time. Iowa and Ohio are two other likely red states, despite Democrats' consistent efforts to turn them blue. Back in 2016, many pundits and polls predicted Hillary Clinton would win these states, as they both went to Barack Obama in 2012. However, not only did Clinton lose, but she lost by nearly double-digit margins. In 2020, a similar scenario played out, with polls suggesting Biden had a chance. Yet Trump won both states by nearly the same margins. In 2024, Trump is expected to secure Iowa and Ohio by double-digit margins of 10 points or more, making them likely Republican. In the Sun Belt, there are two more likely red states, Texas and Florida. Trump carried Texas by 6 points in 2020 and by 9 in 2016. For 2024, he could win Texas by his largest margin yet, potentially more than 10 points. The last Republican to win Texas by a solid margin was Mitt Romney in 2012. And while Trump likely won't crack 15 points, a 7 to 10 point lead is expected. The Lone Star State is thus a likely red. Similarly, Florida, with its 30 electoral votes, is also likely to go to Trump. Together, Texas and Florida offer 70 electoral votes. These states were competitive in 2020, with polls showing Biden ahead at various points. However, not only did Biden lose Florida, but he performed worse there than Clinton did in 2016. By 2024, Democrats acknowledge Florida is beyond reach, with Trump poised to win by 7 to 12 points, making it likely red. With the likely states filled in for Trump, he now has 219 electoral votes, just 51 away from the presidency. Before I continue, nearly 70% of you are not subscribed, so please hit that subscribe button for more content like this leading up to November's election. Also, join my Discord server to participate in our 2024 prediction contest at discord.gg/selections. Now, let's move on to the likely blue states, those races where Harris is expected to win by 7 points or more. We'll start with Oregon and New Jersey, both of which will likely stay blue. Oregon and New Jersey, while likely to remain blue, are expected to do so by narrower margins than their more liberal neighbors. These states are not as left-leaning as places like Washington or Maryland. Then we have the Empire State of New York, where I project Harris will win, though likely by just under 15 points, marking the worst Democratic performance in New York since 1988. Finally, we have Colorado, which offers 10 electoral votes. Biden carried Colorado by 14 points in the last election, but Harris may not even reach a 10-point margin. She'll be fortunate to win the state by over 7 points. So for now, it remains in the likely Democratic category. With all the likely states accounted for, Harris trails with 191 electoral college votes. Now we're left with the 12 most competitive races in the country, along with Nebraska's 2nd District. These states will ultimately decide the winner of the election, which is just 10 days away. For Kamala Harris to win, she'll need to sweep the upper Midwest states, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. The good news for her is that Joe Biden won all 4 of these states in 2020. However, the bad news is that she is polling significantly lower than Biden was 4 years ago and even lower than Hillary Clinton in 2016, who lost Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, narrowly winning Minnesota. Now, let's fill in the lean states, those likely to go to either Harris or Trump by a margin of 2 to 7 points. While these races could go either way, one candidate still has a slight edge. Starting with Minnesota, the home state of Tim Walz, who is a significant reason Harris is favored here. Without him on the ballot, Minnesota could be one of the most competitive states in the country. Harris leads by just 3 to 4 points, despite Biden winning it by 7 points in 2020. And he wasn't running with the sitting governor. So, Minnesota will be the first lean state, favoring the Democrats. Next, in New Mexico, Harris is struggling, leading by only 6 points despite Biden carrying the state by almost double that margin. Democrats are losing ground with Hispanic voters nationwide, and this trend is evident here. Therefore, New Mexico will also lean blue. Before continuing, let me quickly tell you about Polymarket, the world's largest prediction market. It allows you to track election results and see who's leading in real time, free from media bias. Polymarket recently launched a mobile app where you can access their 2024 election forecast on the go. Check them out at polymarket.com or download the Polymarket app from the App Store. Moving to the Northeast, we have 2 competitive races in New Hampshire and Maine. Harris is projected to win these by less than 7 points. Biden won these states by a likely margin, but they were much closer in 2016. Clinton won New Hampshire by less than half a percentage point and Maine by less than 3 points. Harris's margin of victory is expected to fall somewhere between Clinton's and Biden's, making both of these races lean blue. Also in play is Nebraska's 2nd district, which favors Democrats due to recent redistricting. This shift gives Harris an advantage here. Under the old district lines, Trump would likely be the winner. Finally, the last lean blue state on the map is Virginia, where I have Harris winning by just over 2 points. Biden carried the state by 10 points in the last election, but it has since shifted significantly to the right. Republicans even won the governorship with Glenn Youngkin in 2021. Polls today show Harris leading by 5 points, though they often overestimate Democratic support in Virginia. I'd be surprised if she manages a likely margin here. So Virginia will be the final lean blue state for Harris. We're now left with the last 7 states, 3 in the Rust Belt and 3 in the Sun Belt. These 7 states will ultimately decide the next president, as the outcome in most other states is essentially predetermined. Republicans are not expected to win in Washington or Colorado, nor is Harris likely to win in Texas or Florida. It's really these 7 swing states that have the highest potential to go either way. The bad news for Kamala Harris is that she is trailing in every one of the 7 battleground states. Starting with Georgia, this state is expected to lean most toward the right among the battlegrounds, even though Joe Biden narrowly carried it in the last election by less than 1/4 percentage point, making it the closest state on the 2020 map. Currently, Trump leads by a significant 2.2% in Georgia. Polls here are generally reliable, and I project Trump to win by 3 to 4 points, which would mark an impressive margin considering his loss just 4 years ago. Thus, the first lean red state on the map is Georgia. Next up, in the Sun Belt, is Arizona. I'm presenting these states in the order of likely Trump wins, from most to least conservative. Since Arizona is critical to Trump's path to victory, if he doesn't win here, his chances in the remaining battlegrounds decrease considerably. Fortunately for Trump, he has a solid lead in Arizona, currently up by 1.5%. Given that polls historically underestimate his support, I expect Arizona to go to Trump by a margin similar to Georgia's, around 3 percentage points. This is another state Harris has to defend after the Democrats win in 2020, but she hasn't gained the necessary ground, making Arizona a lean red for Trump. Let's now jump to Pennsylvania in the Midwest, skipping Nevada and North Carolina for the moment. Pennsylvania, with its 19 electoral votes, is the most valuable battleground state. If Trump secures Pennsylvania, it's almost game over for Harris, who would need a clean sweep across the Midwest, a feat few believe she is likely to achieve. Currently, Trump holds a slim 0.6% lead in Pennsylvania, and I anticipate a win by just over 2 points. Both campaigns are heavily focused on this state, underscoring its critical importance. In 2016, Trump won Pennsylvania by 0.7 points, and he managed to hold on to it by a similar margin in 2020. Given its competitiveness, Pennsylvania is the final lean red state on this map. The remaining 4 states, Nevada, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Michigan, fall into the tilt category, meaning they are likely to be decided by 2 points or less. Let's start with North Carolina. but where I predict Trump will win by just under 2 points. This will still be a solid victory for the former president, improving on his 2020 performance. However, his support in North Carolina could be slightly affected by Mark Robinson, the Republican gubernatorial candidate, who has faced numerous scandals and is running a weak campaign. While down-ballot races don't always affect the presidential race, Robinson's unpopularity certainly doesn't help Trump. Nevertheless, Trump leads by 0.8% in the state, and I fully expect him to carry North Carolina, as he did in both 2016 and 2020. However, due to the situation with Robinson, I've categorized North Carolina as a tilt Republican state. With these projections, Trump's path to surpassing 270 electoral votes largely depends on winning the Sunbelt states, along with Pennsylvania. Technically, Trump doesn't need Arizona to reach 270 electoral votes. But if he doesn't win it, he's likely to face challenges in Pennsylvania and North Carolina. If he secures both Pennsylvania and North Carolina, it's almost certain that he will have already won Arizona. Now, let's complete the map with Wisconsin and Michigan, two states that historically vote together along with Pennsylvania. The last time these three blue wall states didn't all go to the same candidate was in the 1988 election. Currently, Trump leads by a slim 0.2% in both Michigan and Wisconsin. In the last election, polls overestimated Biden's support in these states by 6 to 7 points, so there's little doubt that Trump will flip Michigan and Wisconsin back. He won them in 2016, and I expect them to go to him by around 1 to 2 points each. Finally, we have Nevada, which I believe to be the most competitive state at this stage. This is a challenging sign for Kamala Harris, as Nevada is the only battleground where she has even a slight chance. Currently, Trump leads by 0.7% in Nevada, and polling here is generally accurate. The state has become highly competitive. In 2022, Republicans won the governorship but lost the Senate seat. At this point, however, I have Trump as the favorite in Nevada, as his momentum continues to build, a crucial factor in the closing days of any campaign. With this update, my 2024 electoral map prediction shows Trump with a substantial lead at 312 electoral votes, easily on track to win. Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania aren't even close contests, and he only needs one of the 4 tilt states to secure the presidency. Everything points toward a Trump victory, setting him up to return to the White House on January 20th, 2025. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this leading up to the election in November.